of innovation you have been doing is around policy innovation, right? Pushing the boundaries a bit. So can you talk a little bit about that, an example or two of that?
Absolutely. I mean, the sort of zero carbon future for our data centers and hopefully for the grid eventually is, we recognize it's a long-term process. And the deals that I talked about, the 20 contracts that we've done around the world, they haven't been done in every region, and our goal is to really do projects in every region where we have data centers and to be able to supply our facilities directly. Asia is a good example where we haven't done any projects, and we have a large presence in Singapore, and we have a large presence in Taiwan. Last summer, I had the honor of meeting with the president of Taiwan to talk about this issue. Luckily, our interests were aligned on this, and just recently, in the past 3 months or so, they've actually passed an amendment to the Electricity Act in Taiwan, which will allow companies like Google to eventually be able to source renewable energy on their own. And so that took a tremendous effort from my policy team over several months following that meeting, and there's a lot of time left to sort of craft what would make sense in an economical way for companies like us. But that's more of a long-term vision, and it's really attacking it from a grassroots perspective and truly from a policy perspective. Another example is in the Southeast US. We're in North Carolina, which I think, as everyone knows, is Duke territory, and they are a regulated incumbent utility. And data centers are very large investments. In the state of Iowa and in the state of Oklahoma, we are the single largest investors in those states ever. So multi-billion-dollar investments over time. In North Carolina, we actually had the option of doing a significant expansion. And we sat down with Duke and we said, look, we have choices. We're not able to source renewable energy. We need to source renewable energy as a core principle of the company. What can you do to help us, and what can you do to help win this investment for the state of North Carolina? And they agreed to do something that they had never done before, that frankly they had pushed back on a lot of times when we had talked to them about, and that's to pass a pilot green source rider to actually go out and secure power purchase agreements for companies like Google on behalf of Google, flow through those responsibilities to the underlying customer, but essentially meet our goals of securing renewable energy in a formally constrained market. We entered into a project with them when that rider finally got finished. And now we're working with them on ways to sort of bring that rider to the next level to really allow it to be accessible to everyone. What have we learned through this process in terms of things that work and things that don't work? How can we refine the program? So we're very active on the policy front, and it's really taking a long-term vision on where we eventually want to be, which is a zero carbon energy supply. But how do we begin to take action today, even in these places that may seem difficult and where it may seem impossible to reach our goals?
So